What's poppin'? Brand new whip, just hopped in. I got options. I can pass that like stocking. Just joshing. I'm spending this holiday locking.
All right, y'all, before we get into the story time, I just want to let y'all know what I'm eating for dinner tonight. We have some smothered pork chops and gravy. We have some corn. And we have our rice over here in the rice cooker. I just brought this cup and straw. We are going to be drinking this pineapple coconut sparkling water. This is from Walmart. If you have not tried it, please try these waters. They have them in different flavors in the bottle and in the can. So all right, y'all, so we got our plate fixed, so let's get into the video. All right, y'all, so let's get into this story time. This is my plate. I was not expecting a bone, but I guess it came out of the pork chop somewhere. This is so good. Just disclaimer, I'm super tired, so that's why I'm kind of killing two birds in one stone. Hold please. All right, y'all, I got a little notepad too because I have forgot something. So this is actually my second time filming this for y'all. So we're gonna talk about what happened on the trip and give y'all a little heads up on why I don't have a lot of footage. So I had to write things down because it had been a while and I forgot. And I had forgot that I was even telling y'all in the video that our flights had got canceled, but Air Canada was telling us that they weren't. Okay, so first of all, we had booked our flights through the cruise line, Norwegian Cruise Line. They had a special. You buy one flight and you get the other flight free. So when I put the trip together, the host was like, oh, you know what? This is an awesome deal. Let's book this itinerary and we could book the flights through them. Our mindset was thinking, we had discussed that we should possibly maybe get a hotel and stay the night before, but then we're like, nah, everybody's already paying enough money for the trip. Also, we're booking the flights through the cruise line, so they're gonna guarantee and make sure that we get to the ship on time to take the cruise. So that was our thinking. And the reason why we were thinking that, because other cruise lines, there is another cruise line, I think it's Royal or Princess. Actually, it's Princess. If you book the flights through them, they guarantee that if you don't make the ship, they are going to reimburse you. They're going to pay you for any money that you have to pay if you don't get to the ship in time. That is their guarantee, FYI. So that's why we didn't offer that as an option, you know, because that's what our thinking was. Turns out that was not the case. So anyways, as y'all saw in the last video, the day before, and if you have not watched that video, I will link it here. Please go there so you can catch up. I don't have enough gravy on this rice. So Air Canada, the day before we were supposed to leave for our cruise, had canceled our flights. Everybody was on the phone. I was on the phone. The host of the trip was on the phone. Other passengers was on the phone. And they were all saying, no, it's not canceled. It's set to go, yada, yada, yada. We get there at 4 in the morning. One person in our party was already there, had checked in, had her boarding pass, ready to go. there was 2 different flights. Some people were on a 7 o'clock flight. The majority of us were on the 7:30 flight. The 7:30 flight is the one that had got canceled. So when we get there, we get to the kiosk. Well, not the kiosk. The kiosks weren't open. No, the kiosks were full. So we're like, okay, we're gonna stand in line. Get to the counter. The guy at the counter was like, wow, your flight was canceled. They didn't rebook you. Looks like you guys got skipped. You know, you guys were slipped through the cracks. They did not rebook you. We were like, well, it's about 30 of us. What happened? Why didn't we get rebooked? So he took our passports. He was like, I'm gonna escalate this to management. As everybody was coming in, we were telling them, come to the counter, give the gentleman your passport so he can work on rebooking. So we waited, and this was one thing we did wrong. We trusted the people at the counter to handle us, and they didn't. They just left us hanging on the side for like 2 hours. So we should have been on them. Hey, are you guys working on it? Are you guys working on it? We need to get to our ship. Are you guys working on it? Trusting them that they were taking care of us, and they didn't. So after a little while, the host of the trip was like, okay, we need to go check on them, see what's going on. Turns out people that weren't in our party was already being rebooked, and they just forgot about us. They just think we just chilling out, hanging out. So then they started bringing more reps, more people to the counter to try to get us booked. Long story short, we all winded up on 3 different flights. And some was on Delta, some was on another airline. My group that was with me, we were on SAS, which is Scandinavian Airlines, okay? So if you see SAS, it's Scandinavian Airlines. I had to look that up because I forgot. We were on a flight to Denmark. So our original route was LA to Canada, Canada to Athens. We were routed from LAX to Denmark, Denmark to Athens, okay? So prior to that, they had gave us a flight to get us there at Athens at 4:30. And we were like, no, that's not good enough. We need to get to Athens at least by 3:30, 3 o'clock. So we can get on the ship by 5. We had to get to the port by 5 o'clock to go through customs for the ship to leave at 6:30. So finally, they fixed it, gave us a flight for us to be at Athens. We were supposed to be in Athens at 3 o'clock, according to our flights, right? So we're like, okay, we're cool, kind of calm. Some of our other party flights had already left. So we're thinking, oh, okay, cool. We can take a breather. That was not the case. One of the parties' flights left, okay, to LAX, got to their next stop. Their next flight at their next stop was delayed, causing them to miss the ship. But we didn't know that until later on. So then we're like, cool, we're good, we good. We get on our flight. We get to Denmark good enough time. So we're like, okay, we're cool. We get on our second flight from Denmark. It took them an hour. An hour. We were sitting on the plane for an hour to leave Denmark to get to Athens. So everybody's like, my heart is beating. I'm like, really? We came this far to still wind up and miss the boat. So I'm just like praying, hoping and praying everything goes well. So finally, my group gets to Athens. We get to Athens at 3:45. I'm like, okay, we're still good. It's 3:45. We have until 5 to get there. It took them almost an hour to get our luggage off of the plane down to baggage claim. We're like, really? Come on, man. Everything was like blockage after blockage after blockage. So then finally, when we get there, we're receiving notification that people are not gonna make the plane. They were in Turkey. I think they were stuck in Turkey. It wasn't gonna get to Athens until like 5:30, 6:30. We are like, the boat is not gonna wait for y'all. We are trying to figure it out once we get on the ship. So one crew will try to figure it out when we get to the ship. So finally, we get our luggage, right? And then we go out to the transportation station. The guy at the transportation station is like, if you want to make the ship on time, you got to take a taxi. There's not going to be any more buses going to the ship. That's it. And we were like, what? It was not only our party, but it was more people that were on our same flight with us that got there the same time we did. And everybody was like, no, we paid for y'all to transport us from the airport to the ship. And now you want us to take a taxi? So anyway, a lady came up, she ran up and she was telling him like, hey, be quiet. We already know this group was gonna be late. Everybody to the bus now. So everybody was like, you remember that scene from Home Alone when they was running down the airport? That was us. Get on the bus. The guy that's driving the bus, he's helping us like throw our luggage on. He was like, let's go. He was zooming to get us there. He was like, they're waiting on y'all, let's go. So he was like getting us through traffic. He was booking it. So when we get there, there's about 20 staff members from Norwegian. As soon as the bus pulls in, they're like jumping up and clapping and everything. As soon as he parks the bus, they start running to the bus, throwing our luggage out. And I'm like trying to look for my bag. And the lady was like, don't worry, I got it. She snatched the bag from me. She was like, everybody get your passports out so we could check y'all in. And so, yeah, we barely made it. We made it. I think soon as they closed the door, that ship took off. So our trip came with 450 minutes of Wi-Fi, which turned out to be like 3 hours. As soon as I got on the ship, I was using my Wi-Fi to make calls, look up places, because we had one group that was in Izmir, Turkey. We had one group that was in Istanbul. So we were talking to like 2 different parties at the same time, trying to see how we could get them on the boat. So one party said, that was the Istanbul party, said that the airline was not responsible to get them to the next dock. So our next dock was in Kushadasi, which was in Turkey. So we were trying to tell them like, stay in Turkey so that way you can get on the ship at the next stop. The Istanbul group did not push the issue and they did not listen. They would have been able to get on the ship the next day if they would have listened, but they didn't. The Izmir group stayed in Izmir. Izmir is about an hour from Kushadasi. As soon as we told them that it was an hour, all they needed to do was get a taxi and get to Kushadasi. They hopped on it, got a hotel in Kushadasi, was able to get on the ship the next day. They told us they was able to see the ship coming in from their hotel. Like, their hotel was right in front of where we docked in Kushadasi. So the Istanbul group wind up going to Athens instead of staying in Turkey, which didn't make sense. So they didn't get on the ship until the third day. They had to get on the ship in Israel because our first dock was Kushadasi, which had customs agents there. The second dock, which was the second dock was Haifa. Haifa was a tender, so there was no customs agent, so that's why nobody can get on. But once we got to Ashdod, which is the dock close to Israel, Jerusalem, and all that, they were able to get on. So they weren't able to get on the third day. So when I tell you it was a hassle, I was over it. I was over it. So that's one reason why you're not gonna see a lot of footage. I tried, you're gonna see that I tried to vlog, but mentally, my mind wasn't there. People were saying that I shouldn't have been enjoying myself. I had paid for my excursions just like everybody else. So people were expecting me to not go on my excursion and stay on the ship and waste my money because they couldn't get on the boat. It was other people that were in the travel field on the boat calculating the amount of money that I was making for everybody and saying that it was my fault that we didn't make it, that they didn't make it to the ship. It could have been me. We could have all not have made it. Like, everybody's flight got canceled, like except for the other group. Except for the other group that left at 7 o'clock, which was about 4 people. So they were talking like I'm the one sabotaged the whole thing when I was in the same boat that they were. Not sure what I could have did to ensure that the flight didn't get canceled or that we had an earlier flight, because even though we all left LAX on time, all of our second legs were late. All of them. So I think the only thing I could have did different in retrospect was not let them just keep us together. What I could have did differently was, instead of waiting and trusting that they were going to take care of us, we should have stayed on top of it. So that was my bad there. The second thing was making sure that we went a day ahead, even though our flight was actually a day ahead. We should have went 2 days ahead to avoid, to make sure we get there. But my mind, I'm trusting in the cruise line. So that was my bad for trusting the cruise line, that they were gonna get us there and make sure that we get there on time. And that's about it. So mentally and emotionally, I was not there to vlog. It did mess up my mental because this is me as a business owner. I was upset about it, about the whole thing, So, and then after all that, people had attitudes once they got on the ship. A lot of people, I appreciate those people that say, you know what, while I'm on the ship, when I get on, I'm gonna go ahead and enjoy it while I can. There was a couple, my brother and sister got on, that I consider my brother and sister. They didn't even have clothes, okay? Their suitcase was lost. The airline had lost their luggage, but thank God they did wind up getting it back once they got home. but they were in the best spirits. Other people just had attitudes the whole time with me. So saying that I didn't care. How did you know that I didn't care? You don't even know me. You wasn't even there. You didn't ask me. You weren't even around me. So you're assuming that I didn't care. I don't know what gave them that feeling that I didn't care when I literally could not enjoy myself. We were literally talking about the whole ordeal and trying to do the best that I could with the resources that I had. I'm in the middle of the ocean with a cell phone that barely works, data that barely works. I don't know what more that I could have done. If I could have got a helicopter or a plane to go pick them up, I would have. So, anyways, that's what I needed to let y'all know about the situation. If you have any comments or questions, please add them in the comment section. And I'm gonna go ahead and list the footage here. Let's talk about Israel. I think that's where I got to the point where I was like, I'm over it. Because the first day I was in Kushadasi on my excursion. And then the second day in Israel, I was just super hot. It was just very, very hot. And they had said on the paper that you had to dress a certain way, when I could have wore something that I had in my suitcase. I had on all black. It was like you had to have your arms covered and everything. People had on shorts. They had on short sleeves. I was hot. That you had to have your head covered. I didn't have to have all that. I didn't, I was really disappointed with my experience in Israel because I guess my expectations was really high. The part that I did see, I guess I was looking for a more spiritual experience, and I didn't get that from it. Hold on. I didn't get that from it. There was a lot of shops on the road to Calvary. I didn't like that part. And then I was in the church. What is that church name? I'm gonna list the name of the church here. I think it's the Church of Ascension. I was there, and Jesus' tomb, what the tradition, what is believed to be Jesus's tomb. Well, you know, the tomb that Jesus borrowed. It wasn't for him. He was borrowed the tomb. They had an offering basket in the tomb. Maybe I shouldn't be upset because it was a borrowed tomb, but still, I didn't like that part. Why do you have an offering basket for people to give an offering? Maybe it's just me. Let me know if I'm tripping on that. But yeah, I was expecting it to be a more sacred and spiritual experience, and I didn't get it. And maybe because I was already messed up in my head mentally, I didn't get it. But anyway, we're gonna go do the trip again, but on a different route, different ship, different route this time. Enough of my talking. If you want to be a part of the adventure crew, you know what to do. Go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Leave me a thumbs up, and please talk to your girl in the comments. I hope y'all enjoy this footage. I will see y'all in the next video. bus, getting ready to
Good morning,
go
everybody.
to
Good
our
morning. Good
excursion.
morning to you. How are
Where
you?
y'all back?
Hello. Mutlu. M-U-T-L-U. M-U-T-L-U. It's not a common name in Turkey. It is in Kuşadası. It's the only name. I mean, it is something different name. Okay. And so M-U-T-L-U. Mutlu. Our driver name is Bilal. Bilal is his name, and he is going to take us to the places that we are going to visit today. Anybody knows where are we going? By the way.
Ephesus.
No idea. This is the holiday mood, vacation mood on. You know, you don't know the dates, you don't know the days, and you know, that's forget them all. Okay, this is the vacation holiday. Ladies and gentlemen, we are at Kuşadası, at the western part of Turkey. Actually, I am from central Turkey. I grew up central Turkey, where the Cappadocia area is located. Have you ever been in Cappadocia? Any of you been in? No. Any of you hear about Cappadocia? Here? No. Hear about it, but nobody been there. Okay. It's a magical fairy chimneys located. The ancient, you know, the rock shapes, and you know, ancient underground cities that they hot air balloons, right? It's very famous at the central Turkey. Actually, I am from this city right over here, Whirling Dervishes. You see the Whirling Dervish picture here? That's my hometown, Konya. Actually, I grew up there, and for since 2007, I have been living here. So that has been like 16 years. Okay. And so when I came here first time, the population of Kuşadası was 65,000. Today is 130,000 people living in the town here. The name of the town is Kuşadası. Kuş means bird. Ada means island, bird island. Maybe this one is a very popular town. Why? Because it is very close to Ephesus city. And so this year we are expecting 400 cruise ships in total. At the end of the season, until the end of the season, it will be like 400 cruise ships will be visiting Kuşadası port. And so it is actually the number of people living here in winter times, as I told you, 130,000 people. But in summer times, the Texas state, his map is just not going straight like down there. It looks like bigger than Turkey, but when you look at the surface area, it is a little bit bigger than Texas. So anybody from UK? No? Okay, well, 4 times bigger than UK. Okay, like 11 times smaller than Australia, about 12 times smaller than Canada. Anybody from Canada? Okay, about 12 times smaller than preserved. That is the advantage for modern people, archaeologists. So we are looking at very fertile land over there, all the fig trees, beach, you know, all the way down there. On the way to House of Virgin Mary, I will show you the city walls, Hellenistic times city walls as well. Now, ladies and gentlemen, in order to check our headsets, please turn it on. At the side there is a button, just turn it on.
So this is a prayer wall where you write down your prayers and put them up here.
This is an amazing miracle of nature, I call myself. It's still, please. It's very flexible, yes. It's nothing fragile though.
Yes.
It is
like
very
a
flexible.
thread. So that's how you harvest.
Or you may be using handmade rugs already at home. On this outline, on this chart, the red fibers are showing you double knots. So simply, the surface of the pile is this part. That is a double knot, you see. This is what she's performing now. That's why she's using one thread from the front, one from the back, and she's making a loop around the two. The green fibers here, as you see, are known as single knots. They are known as Persian knots. In case of durability only, that is the only criteria I can compare, the more you vacuum these. To make a knot, ladies and gentlemen, is not the difficult part of this job. You can practice, you can get faster and faster in time. The point is, on this outline, every tiny square is one double knot. So to make the right knot into the right spot is a matter of difficulty. Do you speak in inches or in centimeters? Both. Both. Engineer? No. Okay, I also speak the two. This is a size of a silk rug, approximately 2 feet by 3 feet, 60 centimeters by 90 centimeters. Part of the rug is like a security belt or chain, which is going to lock the knots into the pile. So she will push. She will beat the knots down into the pile, bring them all to the same level and line.
Yes.
Wow. Okay, y'all, so I'm here. This is the land of Moriah where Abraham took Isaac for a sacrifice. Also called the Wailing Wall. So you see all the people praying at the Wailing Wall. Wow. Okay, so today we are in Nazareth, and it's so pretty. We are now at the top of the city of Israel. It is so beautiful. This whole place right here is absolutely lovely.